Hey tribe, what's up? Today is going to be special because I haven't done like a business video, really talked about business for a long time. And today it was just kind of on the top of my mind is as I'm adjusting the camera here, is why, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you run a company, you work for a company, and I'm talking about, even, small companies, mid-sized companies, and I've even seen it in large brands, large companies, is why isn't social media management working for you or working for your company? And this is something I know a lot about because I've worked in the industry. I don't work in the industry anymore as far as an employee, but that's what I used to do. I've always been involved with it. I have at least, how old am I now? 20 years, probably at least like 25 years. That's what I've been doing. Like, I'm kind of old school. I started off with like old school growing a brand and marketing, meaning you're recruiting, you're basically out old school sales, talking to people, stuff like that. That's how you grew the brand. And then back in like 2008-ish, something like that, when social media, websites, funnels, sales funnels, digital marketing became crazy popular, then all the companies wanted to have a website. All the companies wanted to do digital marketing. And that's how I transitioned because I was old school. And what I found by being old school is I'm kind of very, very unique because I have a skill set that most people nowadays don't have. I have a skill set that even digital marketers don't have. That's how I got in SEO. Because even in an SEO, search engine optimization, just in my opinion, you have to know, listen to this, guys, you have to know how a business runs. You have to know how to build a company, build a business, build a brand, build a department, all that jazz. Okay, now either you build it yourself and you have your own brand, or you have at least worked for companies where you're building the account, you're building the department, you're building the company, you're in the startup phase of the company. So you have that type of experience. That's the type of experience that I have. You have to have that side, even in search engine optimization, even in SEO. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because in this video, I really want to really focus on social media management. And what I've seen, like I've told you, I've seen this in small companies, mid-sized companies, and large companies. And they all do the same thing. Okay? They literally all fall into the same trap, meaning that what I see, why it doesn't work, I'm getting right to the point here, is for one, this is kind of the oxymoron, is that you don't hang in there long enough. You don't do it long enough. Okay, you think like you're going to hire someone to do your social media management, and you think you're hiring an expert. You think they know something that nobody else knows, which is never true, and you think you're going to explode in 1 month. You think you're going to explode in 2-3 months. Okay, you think like a marketer that worked with Gary Vee is going to make you explode faster, or a marketer that worked for Alex Hormozi is going to make you explode faster. It just isn't true. Makes sense? Like, they might know things, okay, at a higher level, what these guys are doing, but it really just comes down to being consistent and not giving up. Because most of these guys, even Gary Vee, most of these guys were in the social media game for years before anybody knew who they were. Okay. So besides me getting off on a tangent here, let's kind of go back to business and kind of what I see, the major mistakes. And like I've said, I've seen this in small and huge brands, huge companies that make millions of dollars. And I won't name companies, that's not the point. But the thing is, the trap they fall into is that when they hire a social media person, and maybe they hire them separately, maybe they have a marketing division, then they come up with the bright idea to have someone focus on social media management. They fall into the trap that they want immediate gratification. Okay, they want it to work within 2 months. So then when they hire someone, or they hire someone within to focus on it, 2-3 months down the road, they go back looking at their social media, and you've gained like 10 followers, 15 followers, and then you have to write all these fancy reports for the CEO and stuff like that, for your manager, senior management, or the CMO, the chief marketing officer, or something like that. And they sit there and say, "Oh, I don't want to pay you money. We've only got 10 followers." So they don't see the investment in it. Okay, like I said in the beginning, you have to hang in there. You have to be able to be consistent and persistent with it. I mean, consistency and persistency wins. Okay. And the second thing I see, and this is across the board because I've been in all three scenarios working for a small company, mid-size, or a big company, is this is probably the number one thing that goes on. They're hire a social media manager, but maybe 10% of your time is only doing social media. You get me on that. And if you work in the industry, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe 10% of your time is actually doing social media management across the board. The other 90% of the time is your boss or the CMO, the CEO, depending upon who you report to, basically has you all over helping different departments. You might have like an HR background. You might be over there helping the HR department. Okay, you might be a dude. I worked for one company back in the day, and in my marketing department, it was all guys. But then in their warehouse, it was kind of weird. In their warehouse, they only had girls hired. So when they have these big deliveries, the warehouse staff couldn't move most of this stuff around, couldn't move all these big boxes and that weight that were heavy. So what they would do is every time an order come in, like the whole marketing department had to go basically work and help out the manufacturing side of the company. And this was probably at least 50% of the time. So at the time, I was the SEO director of the company, and here I am, the SEO director, but at least minimum 50% of the time, I'm pulled to work in the manufacturing side and help. Okay, now I'm not opposed to helping, but I'm saying is they want, when it comes down to the bottom line, they want to get you a result in social media, SEO, marketing, but yet you're not. That's not the only thing you're doing. They basically have you spread thin, jumping all around. Okay, even Alex Hormozi talks a lot about this. You got to focus on one thing, baby. Okay, if you hire someone to do social media management, okay, that's a thing they do 100% of the time. That's why your company's not getting results, because you have them spread thin all over the place. Okay, or they just don't have the experience to do it. So then, they're being that stereotypical employee mentality of, they're kind of jumping around and helping other departments because they don't know really how to run a social media management department. But the third thing here I want to tell you is the reason why a lot of these influencers, because nowadays, and it's been going on for a while, it's been going on for many years, several years, is that lots of time these influencers, okay, once they gain traction, okay, they're really, really competing with huge brands. They're really, really competing and almost like doing better than these huge brands. And one of the things is, even for myself, is especially in the beginning, I'm not caught, like when I'm working on my own stuff, I'm not caught up with wasted time. I'm only focused on like what works, bottom line. And what I mean by that, especially if you work for a company, most of your time is spent on just useless job descriptions, useless things you do. And what I mean by that is I have to write a report and I spend 2 days on it to go talk to the CEO, kind of how the month is going and all that jazz. You get me on that. Like, those are all just a waste of time. Again, most of the time, every time I've done reports and people, and especially for an employee, as a company, is you're sitting there giving a report, they're just sitting there like they're daydreaming off in La La Land, or the meetings have food. All they care about is eating and having food, and getting paid to sit there and eat. Pretty much employee mentality. And so that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother problem, is most of what you're doing day to day is useless. Okay, that's why when a company is competing against an influencer, that influencer is going to catch you and surpass you pretty soon. Hey friends, just a quick little intermission here. We'll jump right back to the video. But if you're really trying to figure this stuff out, if you're really trying to live life on your terms, you really need to check out the description, because in the description is where I keep all the nuggets and all the resources. If you're new here, start right here. We got stuff like the power drops, which is totally free, by the way. We got the 30-day challenge. And of course, if you want to be part of the tribe, the link is here. And if you want to try to work with me, the link is right here as well. Like I said, my friends, if you really want to try to make this stuff happen, if you really want to live life on your terms, always keep up to date with the description, because that's where all the nuggets are. Other than that, let's get back to the video. And the last thing I want to share here that just kind of came up to me, I had like a big mosquito flying over my head. I mean, Thailand. I'm in Thailand right now, so Thailand has some big ass mosquitoes. Uh, but since I saw that mosquito actually, actually I had a brain fart. I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say something to kind of sum up this video. But another thing I want to share really quick is that be authentic, be you. You know, stop listening to stuff. You know, lots of times you have to be careful where you get advice. I mean, some of you might not listen to me. Some of you might sit there, you don't know my background, you don't know me from Joe Blow. And you know, some of you are just going to jump on my YouTube and see like, oh my God, he only has almost 3,000 subs. What does he know about anything? You know, I get it. That's the name of the game. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is even on YouTube, you know, I mean, most people come out will tell you how to grow a YouTube channel, but most of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's just regurgitated information. They heard it from one video, another video, then they're trying to make a video uh, about how to grow your YouTube channel. But the bottom line is be authentic and do what you want to do. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Don't do what all the sheep is doing. Bottom line, that's how you grow. That's how you step out of the box. And that's what you see kind of in the digital marketing space. That's what I've seen in the digital marketing space for, you know, over 10 years now, you know, 15, well, even when it started back in 2008. And the same thing keeps on happening is once somebody, like for example, like Alex Hormozi, once Alex Hormozi gets popular, let's say on YouTube, you know, what happens is everybody copies his format. Everybody copies his thumbnail designs. Everybody copies his hooks and stuff like that. So basically, when you jump on YouTube, you have everybody's thumbnail look like Alex Hormozi's. You know what I mean? And the way you kind of break the mold is you have to be authentic. You have to have your own style, the own way you talk, and not everybody's going to like that. You know what I mean? That's why when I sat down and I started talking about business, I put a hat on my head, whatever. I'm not dressed professional, you know, and I'm just sitting here having a casual chat because you know, I want to be more authentic and talk how I usually talk in my personal life. You know what I mean? And and even with me, you know what I mean, having if you for me, like one of the things for me is like in my personal life, I'm kind of very kind of funny and quirky, weird. I do weird shit. You know what I mean? Like Aang will tell me, Aang will always say, like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, but if you have that natural side of you, that's the side you should show. That's what I mean by authentic. And you know, you should show that side of you and be okay with that. And again, not everybody's gonna like it, especially in the business arena, especially if if my whole YouTube channel is branded on live life on your terms, success, manifesting, how to do it. And then when we start talking about business and stuff like that, you know, not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody's going to like you, and you have to be okay with that. I mean, if you're telling a joke, you might offend somebody and they unfollow you, and you have to be okay with that. You understand? You know, I heard a post by Layla Hormozi. Layla Hormozi was actually talking about this, and she was saying like, because a lot of you know Layla Hormozi, Alex Hormozi, they're business gurus right now, and they're crazy popular right now across all social media. You see them all over the place, and And I really related to Layla when she said this, because lots of times in business, when you're in business marketing, you're an entrepreneur, especially you're very, very successful in business. You tend to kind of hide behind your professionalism. You understand, like you're not really authentic. You're not really being you. You're masking. Okay, you're masking who you really are. Like, I have to be professional. I have to wear a suit. I have to dress professionally. I gotta act very, hmm, you know. And Layla was saying like she was struggling with that, and it was kind of Alex that was kind of telling her a little bit. Like she said like Alex would lean over and whisper in her ear like, "You're weird," and Layla started like recognizing like, you know what, I'm just kind of quirky, and I do weird shit. I don't know why I do it. I just do weird shit, and that's when she realized where doing that on video, okay, showing that side of her. If she's just naturally quirky and funny, showing that side of her, and that's what that's kind of like a light bulb moment for her, is that came off. She's just kind of like, if people don't like it, then people don't like it. I don't care, because it makes me happy. I feel more authentic. That's who I really am. And I enjoy making content. It makes me enjoy to make content more because I'm being more who I am. And if people don't like it, and especially people in the business field, the business arena, you know what I mean? Like people think, well, you're being unprofessional. You're a multimillionaire. You should act different. You should act more serious. You know what I mean? And, that's kind of, honestly, that's kind of what wins in the whole social media game, in the whole influencer game, is you kind of just be you and be okay with it and not mask who you really are, especially on video. And that's even something that I've recently have been working on, because lots of times for me, even with this video, lots of times for me, I can go into advice mode and give advice, and all my videos are about advice, advice, advice. And I can kind of mask, because I'm giving advice, I kind of get in serious mode. And it's hard for me to do like a vlog of my lifestyle. It's hard for me to do a vlog, like if we're going to go grab a smoothie and, oh, I'm going to take you with me. It's hard for me to do vlogs because I kind of think like, well, it's kind of corny. Like who wants to watch me drink a smoothie? You know what I mean? Who wants to? Okay, I'm gonna go to a restaurant and eat all I can eat chicken. And why should I set up a camera? Who wants to sit there and watch me eat chicken? You know what I mean? But again, it shows that real side of you. You understand what I'm saying? It shows that authentic side of you. Like even if you're going live and doing live streams, and that's something I want to do more of too. It shows that authentic side of you, because when you're live, I mean, and you're live for a long time, maybe you're live for a half hour, an hour, a couple hours, like you're going to have things happen in that couple hours. They're going to see that real side of you, how you handle it. And or you mess up, or like if I'm doing a YouTube video, it's fine, because if I mess up I can delete it. But if I'm going live, well, if I mess up, I just have to laugh about it, whatever, and keep on going. So it's really about being authentic, and don't overthink it, because it's there's only one you, bottom line. Okay, but use it as a strength, use it as your superpower. Okay, same way with me. There's only one Chad. Okay, I mean, hopefully everybody's not goofy and quirky and weird like me. Okay. And sometimes even with thumbnails, I'll come up with crazy looking thumbnails and stuff like that. But it sets me apart too, because I'm kind of using it as my own calling card a little bit. Because I know if I'm I'm kind of off there on the sideline, not doing what everybody else is doing, eventually it's going to kick. Eventually it's going to hit, and that's what you got to implement yourself as well. So stop copying, and I mean, that's just, yeah, I don't know what else I want to say about that. But anyway, tribe, been yakking a half hour to you. I know this wasn't really a well put together. It was just more thoughts off the top of my head and stuff like that to help you out. and want to do more videos kind of like that rather than me sitting down and I got like step 1, step 2, step 3. Lots of times I do those videos. I got a lot of videos like that on YouTube, but I just kind of want to do more videos like this as well, is where I just sit down and chat, talk about things, talk about stuff off the top of my head. It might look like more of a ramble, but you know, it is what it is. I was in the mood to talk about it, mood to share it, and wanted to help people out as much as I can. And some of you I help out, some of you will think it's all BS, and that's okay. Okay. But anyway, tribe, remember I love you guys. Comment below. Love to hear from you. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.